Hello and welcome back to Demon Souls at Soul Level 1. Today we'll be tackling the first, and in my opinion best, level of Demon Souls, Boletaria Palace 1-1. Also known as Gates of Boletaria in the remake. I think everything about this area is just genuinely phenomenal, as we shall see. In about, 2 minutes with these loading times. So we start out here, past, I guess, the very first gate, and we see this just massive fortress. It's a very utilitarian fortress, not a lot of flags or ornamentation. It is meant as a fortification first, which is something the remake kind of messes up by making it all fancy. Not all of this series will be me bitching about the remake, just solid 50%. It's weird to go back to this game and see how much faster it is than Dark Souls 1. Like your movement speed and your rolls and the like. I don't know, it just feels smoother, especially with that backstab detection. Magic really is kind of easy mode here, huh? Oh, hopefully. Not entirely, especially since I don't know how I'm gonna scale magic damage in this game. I don't know if I can upgrade my catalyst or the like, because I don't think that was a thing until, I want to say, Elden Ring? And I do somewhat have to keep my mana in mind, although not a lot, given the constant regen. Someone there. Yeah, I like how this room, if you're going into through a melee perspective, it's just like two guys rushing at you, a pit to fall in, the crossbow guy. It's very fun. Then you find this guy waiting to ambush you there. I really enjoy the ambushes in these games. It makes sense that they would wait through the choke points. That's smart. There's also a discussion to be had about grass, which is probably the thing I'm least a fan of in this game. I don't know, I would prefer to not have to farm for shit. You know, drops are frequent enough, and they're good ramen spots later on. This spot is actually very reminiscent of the first section of Stormville Castle on the safe route, with these narrow hallways and stairs and the guys throwing bombs at you. It's good to see like that FromSoft still appreciates demon souls, even if Blue Point doesn't. So you're likely to spend enough time examining here that you see firebomb drop from over here, so you're warned of the threat. There's an interesting question to be had of what is the intended playstyle to go through these games with. Like, are they meant to be as hard as they are with the sort of solo melee only build? Or is that sort of just an approach of how overly hardcore players have like given the game a reputation for difficulty that's not as deserved if you simply use other strategies? Like, I don't think the magic system would be so, like, elaborate with as many options if it was meant to be just easy mode. Although it's hard to deny that to some extent it still is in this game. Considering how few enemies can really contend with you at range. I love that Bastard Sword. Bastard Sword was my main weapon for the entirety of my first playthrough. It was pretty great. But yeah, most enemies don't have ranged options and aren't really aggro enough to like get in your face, which would be the weakness of magic builds. That's sort of like close range combat. There's a high-level enemy over there I could try to kill, but it's more likely that he kills me, and I want to unlock the shortcut first. It's weird to think that Crescent Moon Grass will be decently effective for probably the whole run. I didn't mean to do that, I was just instinctively blocking. Because I'm not used to this sort of thing. Now we have this goddamn nightmare. Like, I love this whole section. Like, you get introduced to the bombs there, and then you have to contend with the torch guys without the bombs, and then at the bottom you get a whole bunch of them. That knocks down an item later on. And the barrels that used to be an advantage to you are now a disadvantage, because you have to be able to contend with these guys at short range and, you know, make sure not to fall off. And all that, which is a substantial gauntlet if you're like a first time player, then with a melee build. That's what you need for the first shortcut, and these enemies respawn. It's just so cruel. I love it. It's what I want from these games. Like, imagine if the entire rest of this game went this hard in that level design. Ugh. Just absolutely perfect. So now you have the actual way forward, which is through into this sort of middle section here. It's more maze-like. Getting with these exploding barrels and fire bombs is a big mechanic, which also plays into the boss fight because you learn how good these explosions are for dealing with groups. And here we've got my favorite merchant.
Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
Got some of that. Got some decent stuff.
Be a brave knight or depraved slave, the demons will snatch your soul, and you'll go mad. And those who dare cling to their humanity are hunted down. It is the end of Great Boletaria as we know it. But hell, at least the demons don't send us to our deaths in battle. There's this skinny fella, clad in fabulous armor, who's always mumbling about some mission. He's another one who's managed to stay sane like yourself. Probably some pampered son by the looks of his attire. I'd give an arm just for the buttons off his shirt. It is the end of... But hell! Thanks for that.
Already bringing up the interesting idea that this sort of apocalypse is bad generally, but really isn't that much of a departure from, like, the conditions of Boletaria, like how they already were, just for the lower classes. Which is a theme that will be getting reinforced. It's a lot of guys. See, is anyone gonna try and come down? No. Suppose I can also go find Ostrava, wherever he is. He's down there. Who's shooting at me? Oh, you. Man, fuck off. Okay, now I can go ruin everyone's day down there properly. Alright. I guess I'll deal with you. Or you'll deal with me. That little like automatic walk up of like certain ledges it's unique to this game only, which is very interesting. Because like it's just really good quality of life that they never added into any of the other games. It's real weird. And that's the disadvantage of going on ahead without enough magic. Main threat there dealt with. Alright, that was only mildly humiliating. And there's a Strava.
Please, help me. I am trapped, surrounded by dreglings.
This is actually kind of the opposite route of how I first explored this place, because I found this guy early on and he was helping me clear out all the mobs. This is probably the worst version of this encounter.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude. Now, I must go. There is something for me to take care of.
There's also something for me to go get where you just were, if I can remember / figure out the way there. Right. Well, fuck it. That wasn't exactly what I was going for. But it's proof of concept, I guess. It's an interesting comparison with Undead Burg, the first real level of Dark Souls. Because it's so much more elaborate. And part of that is based off the healing system. Because when you only have 5 Estus, it's a bit much to ask you to go through all of this. Well, it's a lot more reasonable if you've got, like, unlimited healing to be able to brave all these encounters. So this game, and Dark Souls 2 by extension, get to have more elaborate and interesting level design. Compared to Dark Souls 1, where a lot of stuff is roughly a minute from bonfire to boss. Anyway, I wanted to get the Thief Ring, which will help me stealth around shit, ideally. You wanna talk to me?
No matter how far I venture, only the soul-starved remain. Is there a single sane person left in Boletaria?
Can you believe they got rid of, like, the iconic Fluted Knight helm for the remake in exchange for some weird generic armor that doesn't even protect your neck?
No matter how far I venture, is there...
It's just asinine. Like, why would they do that? The actual progress is up here, past this sort of encounter to test how you fare with multiple ranged opponents. As well as the blue-eyed knight there. And here, you see that gauntlet up ahead, but you also see those. On New Game Plus, this actually doesn't kill them all, which is amusing and annoying. And you're warned of the dragon in the distance. Just, it's dated graphics for the time, but like scenery is still very, very impressive. Like artistically. Sometimes lock-on can drive you wrong. Actually, wait a sec. Engage is over there. Were you not gonna breathe fire on them? Hello? Would really appreciate your help, Mr. Red Dragon. I guess I do it myself. I believe this is affected by world tendency. I don't really need to pick up anything there right now, though. I suppose I'm not near enough for him to start breathing fire, unfortunately. Also fortunately, but it's making this more annoying. Oh, now you breathe fire. Now you see a need to do so. I'm gonna come back. You want me to go kill your girlfriend over here? Yeah, that's what I thought, asshole. You don't see me, you don't notice me, you have no idea that I'm here. That massive spear throw certainly is setting an expectation for what you deal with when you're down there. As for why I'm chugging healing at any single point I take damage, I have really low health, and while I can afford to waste healing items, I can't really afford to die, so that's how the cookie crumbles here. One last little nightmare before I'm back at safe ground. Well, thanks for the assist, buddy. See, at this point, you could die quite easily, and then respawn near the boss. But if you're going back here, you're sort of rewarded with a learning lesson. You gotta figure out how to deal with those guys, because they have very high defense from the front. And you see how they attack. And then here, you have the opportunity to get behind them. And see how much weaker they are from the backside. Also, ooh, a shard of sharpstone. Another one. Wow, they're spoiling me today. And then you come full circle, right towards the opening gates. You have the opportunity to go pussy out to the Nexus there. Or you can confront our first boss. Phalanx. Kind of the first real boss in a FromSoft game. Weird to think about. And it's one I'm very fond of. Now, the challenge here is how do you dodge an enemy with overwhelming offense, and more, how do you get past an enemy with overwhelming defense? And the answer is either through things like fire or magic, which can take them out head on, or if you're a melee character, you drag them out. Ideally more successfully than that. Well, it's just not very nice. Drag them out of position. And then punish. And slowly but surely, you gain a foothold against the overwhelming mob. And of course, the Phalanx itself can consume some of its soldiers. At least I believe that's what's happening, in order to heal. So it's hard to just take one opening and rush down. But it's still doable. It's also easier if you've got a big weapon like the aforementioned Bastard Sword, which can sort of carve through these enemies in big sweeps instead of dinky little thrusts that I'm resigned to. You're out of position. These things also drop lots of upgrade material, which is very convenient. And eventually, you actually manage to get an opening. How much does my magic do? Oh. Oh, okay, yes, massively more. I shall obtain the demon's soul and power beyond human imagination.
Welcome back. The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.
Yeah. I got shit to do first.
Excuse the route. You're lucky there is. You come back alive. I need your business.
What was that about, running off like that? Rest assured, your goods are safe and sound with me. Best of luck to you.
Are you here to face the demons? If so, please free Sage Frake the Visionary from the Dungeon of Latria. I will
I'll
help
get
you
to it.
however I can. I can teach you elementary spells. Sage Frake is a gleaming hope for humankind, but I have not the power to save him alone.
It's actually my first time looking at this. I never engage with any of the magic normally. Flame toss. Chant weapon. Interestingly, there doesn't seem to be like a intelligence requirement for any of these.
Frake is a great sage who systemized the magic of the soul arts to make it possible for human imitation. By observing the state of Boletaria and the demons within it, he's likely to pave the way for greater things. All the more reason that I must meet Frake as soon as possible. All the more reason. Be careful how you... Normally it would not be granted to one such as yourself. I had to make an exception for the sake of Sage Frake.
Wow. Rude. Hopefully. Some of these. And get to that 5,000 mark.
Are you begging?
Okay, I'm killing this guy the next chance I get. Don't have enough capacity. Ah, okay. So this is a one at a time kind of thing.
Be careful how
All right.
you use it. No.
Anyways, alright, the actual plot. Should probably go deal with that.
The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.
I got excited for more magic. I love how far this goes up. Like, even if there's not a lot to discover, just... it captures the imagination in a certain way. These games are very good at. And here we have... the Monumentals. Or the last one.
We have long awaited you, Slayer of Demons. I am one of the Monumentals. We preserve the fabric of reality. There is something thou needest to know. Once, we too, a scourge of demons faced. In the distant past, under a benevolent rule, the world was united, owing to the soul arts. Until a lust for power caused the awakening of the Old One. Across the land seeped a colorless, deep fog, and the world faced extinction at the hands of the demons. Thanks be, we were able to lull the Old One back to his slumber, yet only after the loss of innumerable souls, and half the world lost, erased by the fog. In order to mend the fabric of what land still remained, we entrusted 6 elders with 6 precious archstones. 1 to the king of a small yet diligent land. 1 to the king of the burrowers underground. 1 to the wise queen of the great ivory tower. 1 to the chieftain of lost and ill-fortuned souls. 1 to the shaman of the tempest-worshipping shadowmen. And the last to the great giants of the northern lands. The archstones were placed at nodes across the earth. We contained the Old One inside this nexus and banned the soul arts. Finally, we became monumentals, half-living sentinels of the fabric of reality. Alas, the other monumentals have perished, and only I remain.
And despite their efforts, it seems the cycle has repeated once more.
Now it is your turn. You must lull the Old One back to its slumber and seal it away for all eternity. If not, the deep fog will absorb all that we know. Have you the strength to accept this mission? Yes, we are fortunate indeed to have you. Now, go forth and destroy every last demon. The Old One, without demons to feed its souls, will a new servant seek and lure you to its bosom.
Sounds like a plan. One last thing, though.